Good morning, dear participants of Quacquarelli-Simmons Regional Conference. My name is Sayasat Nurbek. I'm Minister of Science and Higher Education of Kazakhstan. It is my privilege and honor to be with you today. It is my utter sorrow I was not able to participate in this conference personally and physically. We have an excellent an exemplary partnership with QS rankings. This year, 21 universities from Kazakhstan participates in QS rankings. We have doubled number of universities ranked in 2021 in 3 years' time. We have expanded the geography of universities represented in QS rankings. And it's all thanks to direct and very fruitful, responsive cooperation with regional office of QS rankings. Our universities and colleges have been making amendments to their strategies. We're now carefully looking into formulating our key performance indicators. The policy of higher education is now copying or following the latest amendments in QS methodologies. We have adopted a 7-year strategic plan in order to give push for our universities to go higher in the rankings. And one of the key projects that I've been implementing personally as a researcher before joining the ministry is the Atlas of New Professions. It is a systemic attempt to bring closer labor market demands and colleges' curricula by forecasting the changing landscape of labor market in the region and in our country. So today I would like to share some of the results of that project we've been implementing in Kazakhstan quite successfully. And let me start with this notion that labor market forecasting, foresights of labor market is now becoming one of the key policies on agenda of many international organizations, International Labor Organization, United Nations institutions, United Nations Development Program, World Bank, have all special units or teams looking into changing landscape of labor market, looking into new skills and jobs, looking into new competency frameworks. And this has been on an agenda of many governments as well, including Kazakhstan. And we could see, we rely on BCG, Boston Consulting Group's data. It's being hired for World Bank loan project by Ministry of Labor of Kazakhstan. I was a consultant, I was part of that, a larger new skills and jobs project 5 years ago, which started about 5-6 years ago. And one of the key components of that project was looking into different factors and different megatrends that would affect, that would change the labor market demands. And one of the driving forces was, of course, digitization and digital technologies. And it's quite interesting to see how, within a very short period of time, the outcomes of this project have changed, or the driving forces have changed. And the effect of these forces substantially reviewed and refought at the time beginning. So when we started, there were a lot of similar projects run by OECD, McKinsey, PwC, World Economic Forum on new workplaces, new jobs, new skills, and World Economic Forum annually publishes a list of new skills. And everyone is trying to assess, well, how would this new task composition will look like in near future. when we started doing this nationwide foresight studies about 5 years ago, we initially had a picture that kind of complied or coincided with a very large-scale and longitudinal research run by a group of researchers at MIT. And David Autor, famous for his Autor's curve. And if you look at the slide, it's quite a unique longitudinal research. They've been looking into 5 groups of different jobs from 60s, so it's quite unique in research because none of the researchers had that kind of longitudinal approach. And if you look at the slide, you would see how the demand for these 5 groups of jobs have changed. And first group is routine manual going down, non-routine manual going down just a little bit up curve because of the increasing demand for handmade, exquisite stuff and products. Routine cognitive, the biggest shift downwards because funny enough, the cognitive tasks are automated much easier with the rise of AI and algorithms. Non-routine analytic and non-routine interpersonal teachers, psychologists, sellers, salespeople, everyone who is interpersonal, emotionally interacts with other human beings. These 2 groups of jobs, non-routine analytic, cognitive, designers, creative industries as we group them, and non-routine interpersonal had the highest demand, and it was thought until 5-6 years ago that they were in safe zone, that they were in higher demand, and there was nothing to worry about. Then everything has changed with rise of AI. So last year's revolution in 4th generation creative artificial intelligence, generative artificial intelligence, has completely changed the picture. So within a mere span of 5-10 years, we've seen radical changes in assessment, a radical change in assessment of labor market prediction and task compositions. So I'd like to draw your attention to the next slide. It's the IBM's latest report, which was published in August this year. I mean, it's one of the fresh reports called Augmented Work in an Automated AI-Driven World. It has 2 major conclusions. AI revolution has happened, and a lot of experts agree on that, and the pace of change will accelerate dramatically. Again, we agree on that. And the second, it is not AI per se that will replace people, but people who mastered AI that will replace people who cannot, don't want to, or cannot, or don't have resources to master algorithms. So that leads us to an interesting conclusion, I wouldn't elaborate given the time limit, but I do encourage you to look deeper into that interesting report, which is now being used by our ministry to change and update some of the curricula and introduce completely new course on AI literacy. So basically, we made a conclusion for ourselves. Digital literacy, we've been trying to introduce in our national curricula 5-7 years ago, should be replaced by AI literacy, because if you look at next slide, you'd see how task composition is now also changing dramatically because of AI-infused, AI-driven labor market. And things like time management skills, ability to prioritize, use those algorithms, enhance, augment your capacity, your skills and competencies is seen as one of the biggest skills to master by itself. So in Silicon Valley, there's a notion of 10x employee, the one who can do things faster, better than other employees, 10x employees. So basically, what IBM report implies, we will have to live to learn, or learn to live with AI and AI augmented world in order to become those 10x employees. And those employees who are not able to, will not, or shall not, or cannot master AI will be eventually replaced. So that's kind of an interesting, pivotal conclusion, which changes the landscape, changes the picture. So national curriculas around the world should be thinking, or should be at least considering these new changes. And Kazakhstan's ministry, our national ministry, is now trying to work around that new challenge as we speak. Now, just let me spend some time explaining our project. So in 2019, our president launched a new project, and he said we need to have a foresight, a forecast tool on a national level so that we can predict our labor force and labor market demand, so that we can work ahead of time to train, retrain, reskill, and upskill our labor force to meet these new demands, so that we're not too late when these new driving forces change skills and jobs composition. And we had a name for that project called the Atlas, the map of new skills and professions. It was quite successful, a project. In the methodology, I was part of that project. I was coordinating the whole effort. So we had people and experts from different ministries and different areas of economy. We had about 2,000 people involved in the project. It was a big national scale, nationwide attempt to build a robust toolkit to have labor market forecast. So all in all, we handpicked 9 key priority areas: tourism, transportation, mining and metallurgy, digital infrastructure, IT, information technology, digital infrastructure, energy, oil and gas, being an oil and gas country, and so on and so forth. And we have identified 463 professions that will be affected by different driving forces, by different trends and technologies. And out of those 463, 239 professions are new professions that would emerge eventually in a span of next 5 to 10, 15 years, and 95 transforming professions that would, the profession, the job stays, but the demands and task composition changes dramatically. And 129 disappearing are so-called retiring professions, the ones that will go out of business, the ones that would basically disappear, so we need to retrain people. There's a new term we've introduced, apart from reskilling and upskilling, deep skilling. So in certain stage of mid-career professionals, they need to go deeper, much deeper in their skills update. So deep skilling, they need to basically train for new job. And it's much deeper, it takes much more resources and time eventually. So this project has changed affected not only national curricula, but also our training programs. If you look at the next slide, you would see that we made a very thorough analysis of different forces, technological, cultural, personal, social, that affect that change. So it was quite an interesting approach, and if anyone is interested, I'd be happy to share quite unique methodology comprised of David Autor's group's findings, international labor organizations, skills technology foresight approach. It was quite a multi-dimensional assessment of labor market and changing labor market demands. And it also gives you good understanding on many levels: national level, enterprise level, sector level. If you introduce certain technologies, if you introduce certain new methodologies, how would it affect the workplace? How would it affect the worker? How would it affect the environment? How did it disrupt relations between the equipment, the worker, working environment? So it's quite interesting quite applicable in very different situations. At the moment, this atlas as a toolkit is used in three basic roles or functions. One, it is a qualitative component of the national labor force forecasting system. So using that approach, we could forecast the next 10, 15 years, what kind of labor force we would need in different sectors of economy, how they should be trained or retrained, or as I said, deep skilled to meet these new demands. The second function, it is the career guidance system. Basically, we start explaining our high school students, starting from grade 7, 9, and last basically 4 years before they graduate from high school. We give them deeper and more detailed understanding how the labor market is changing, what kind of new jobs emerge, and how they can be part of that new labor market. And third function, it is a platform so that our colleges and vocational schools can upgrade their curricula. So basically, they create new curricula, or they update their existing curricula based on findings of these projects. It's quite handy tool for our professors and faculty and education institutions to, I need to upgrade the curricula because of these new demand or new skill. Many universities, colleges, government bodies, Ministry of Labor, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Enlightenment, and different ministries use this multifunctional tool nowadays to change their strategies, to introduce new policies, or even create regional atlases, regional maps, because Kazakhstan is a big country, we have 20 regions. Each region has its own economic complexity, has its own economic diversity, and that methodology is now used for creating regional or local maps. And I'll just give you a couple of examples. We use it in schools, in primary schools and high schools as career guidance, as I said. We use it to update our curriculum classifiers, and we made an amendment. So nowadays, if any college or any vocational school wants to update its curricula, they have to rely and they have to comply with Atlas so that we are sure the programs, the curricula, the contents are actually working in attachment with labor market demands. So that's kind of a crucial demand we're putting on a higher education system. Just a couple of examples. Drone operators are now one of the largest mining companies in Kazakhstan, introduced and now heavily depends on drone operations and blasting, reconnaissance, construction, landscape design works, and so on and so forth. So many colleges and vocational schools that are working and preparing personnel for this mining company now introduced, using our findings, introduced the drone maintenance, drone operator programs. We trained faculty, we've designed new curricula, and now it is used quite widely for many for training of these blasting masters or mining engineers, mining workers for this mining company. In a nutshell, our vision is to create a step-by-step complex career guidance, curricula, design program, platform. So we start with high school students. We give opportunity to college level students to use minors. So a lot of universities now use Atlas to build their minors programs and elective programs, so that changing the core curricula is a big change. It's a radical change. It demands a lot of time and effort and resources, given the higher education is quite conservative. So we're using a minors program, an elective program, so we're creating a lot of shorter term courses so that when college student level graduates, he's able to gain extra skills and extra competence, stack up his expertise, use that multimodal approach, multi-component approach. And I'll give you a couple of examples later on how we use our partnerships with Coursera, with QS, Google, Huawei, these large multinational companies to create certified programs and stackable degrees so that our core curriculum is augmented, updated, reinforced by certain skills and competencies that are in demand. As I mentioned, now this Atlas program is used in different regions of Kazakhstan. So now we've covered half of them, about 10 regions. Next year we're going to finalize this program. So every region will have its new map, Atlas of new skills and jobs. So regional universities, regional companies and businesses can rely to their own map, which has full diagnostics, full research, in-depth understanding of regional economy, regional economic diversity and complexity, and regional labor force task composition. So that's quite a flexible tool for regional education systems. We're using local regional universities as core of that map system, regional atlas system. So the expertise, foresight, competencies are focused on regional university. A regional university becomes the brain power, the methodological power behind that atlas. And it gives us a good and we prioritize those tasks, and regional universities are now serve as partner of governors and executive powers to conduct this. As I mentioned, we have quite interesting, this is my last thought, well, changing the curricula, it's a very long and tedious tasks. So you need to be much more flexible. We give as much flexibility to colleges now. Starting from this year, we've changed all our policies. Up to 95% of the content of any curricula can be defined by university, by the college. So we give them very big flexibility so they can work with local employers, they can work with local businesses, they can work with large corporations, adjust the programs, adapt the programs and curricula to particular needs. We work with Coursera. We're giving free of charge full-time access to all our faculty and many of our students so that they could use Coursera courses as their electives, and we credit them if they get the certificate. We've designed a special course of Google on AI literacy. It'll be running as a pilot project on 14 of our leading universities this year. Starting from next year, we're going to make AI literacy course compulsory for all college level students. We are creating 50 digital labs with Huawei Corporation so that all the regional university will be covered by network of these small R&D centers working for this multinational companies spearheading the communication and IT sector. Binance, we would be the first nation to launch a formal degree program in blockchain engineering and blockchain compliance in partnership with Binance. So in a nutshell, the whole idea is that education systems in the world have to be agile, have to be flexible, have to learn to adapt and adopt new changes of labor market. And we have created a robust, quite interesting methodology for our national education system to forecast, foresight the changes of our national labor market, adapt to it, create new curricula, update existing curricula, and create this bond, systemic bond between colleges and employers. And I would be happy to share our experience with all the participants of the conference. You will have my full contact details. Best of the luck for the conference, and I'm really, really thankful to Nunzio Quacquarelli, to QS Regional Office in Kazakhstan for exciting opportunities for fruitful cooperation and new possibilities that we jointly give to our students and our universities. Thank you so much.